as prepared by staff be approved as written.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections to the minutes as published? Hearing none, Mr. Summers, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Benberry,
Aye.
Commissioner Griffin,
Aye.
Chairman Wade,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler.
Aye.
Keep trying to throw me off there.
Oh, my.
All right, I
Without all
showed,
the new and moving
Yes.
things around.
we're all caught up now, I think. All right, I showed that we have no new petitions for the urban renewal and no continuing petitions for the planning commission. We do have a new petition for approval for the Southside redevelopment plan. I will say that we held a public hearing at our last meeting, and those comments were taken in, and the staff has incorporated those into this version, which is presented to us tonight for this commission to discuss, and if so, to recommend on to the Board of Commissioners. So with that said, Mr. Summers, would you like to begin us on this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, there are two specific actions to take on this item. The first one is for the Planning Commission to make a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners and to the URCDA of either a positive or negative recommendation. The second item is for the URCDA to make either a positive or negative recommendation to the Board of Commissioners as well. There are two separate motions for that, and it's going to be the same format that we followed during the public hearing on June 9th. Mr. Stroop with us tonight will talk about the changes that's been made between the public hearing and now, and what's been incorporated. So, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you to kick things off.
All right. If you would come before us and tell us about those changes that were made based on public comment at our public hearing.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Good to be before you again, even with the new face as well, Commissioner Heath. As you all said, our last meeting was a public hearing held specifically about our draft plan. And since that time, we have reincorporated a lot of the feedback and ideas that we heard during that meeting. A majority of the improvements started in terms of language, clarity, tone to the document, just for easier understanding. We changed some sentences around, we tweaked some things, but a majority of it was just grammatical and to make things as clear and concise as possible. When it comes to expounding on existing information, in our section 7, the tools section, there's a bit more information added on a few of the points. Such as on page 34, I believe. That's where we expounded upon the property tax moratorium, for example. There's just a few lines. We expanded upon that for clarity as well. That's an example of kind of the work that we did throughout the entirety of the document. When it comes to wholly new additions, things that weren't there previously, I have two major changes that we incorporated based upon the information and feedback that we heard last month. First is being on page 42. This is a wholly new section called the I Am Southside campaign, or I Am Southside initiative. When we listened to everybody last month, of course we took our notes, it was incorporated into your minutes, but afterwards, throughout this time, us as staff went through each and every comment and we looked for common themes, common ideas. And what we heard a lot that night was in regards to inclusivity, about the Southside's history and heritage and identity. And so moving forward, instead of simply marketing our plan as a housing document, there's efforts to be made to actually promote the Southside as a whole, and its neighborhood and its history. And that page details the strategies lined out there. For example, the I Am Southside campaign, one recommendation is for signage placed throughout the neighborhoods, banners. There's a mock-up, I believe, of Walter Jeton Boulevard with a banner saying I Am Southside, and it has a familiar face from history with their name and title, with the example being W.C. Young himself. So this is a way to identify local figures and history of people throughout the area, and we're compiling a list currently of potential candidates for this one specific project. So this is something to promote the South Side and its residents and its history as a whole, and not just our housing program. So we really want to focus on the South Side as a cohesive piece and not just one, tool that the city is working with. So that's page 42. That's wholly new. Also stemming from our feedback that we heard the other night is on page 45. This is something we're calling South Side Development Opportunities. These are more independent or private efforts mostly that have essentially started maybe outside of our planning department, but are still very important and influential long-term when it comes to the South Side. Some of the projects that we heard, even at our last meeting, we've incorporated into this section here, giving a brief overview of it and how possibly that the planning department in the city of Paducah as a whole can possibly partner with these groups. Notably, examples are such as the Meharry Medical College recruiting a dental clinic, possible redevelopment opportunity in the region, things mostly that are within the program area that are outlined in the plan, but also a few examples that are outside of the current phase, such as the opportunity at the Senior Center. The Senior Center, of course, has purchased the old Paducah Head Start building and is going to be renovating that space. So that's something to look down the road, maybe a way to partner in the future. So that's what that section is, outlining those kind of larger projects that are kind of moving currently as they are now. A few other, house cleaning things when it comes to structure. Previously, section 11, implementation, there's some information there that we moved to the conclusion just for a better flow. And then also in addition to the appendices as well, with a property inventory sheet that we're using to collect information, that's just included as a reference as well. So that's a summary of the changes that we've made there. Two major substantial ones, but again, we read through the entire document multiple times, really trying to make this as clear and concise as possible, and then meeting the needs of the residents that we heard that night. So with that, I'll close my summary and then turn it back over to you all now.
Thank you very much. Commission, do you have any questions of Mr. Stroop or the staff?
I just had one question. Did, in your planning, did you consider the home of Mr. Oscar Cross?
That isn't clearly outlined in the plan, but there are considerations for significant properties within the region. There has been discussion and even a recommendation in the document for a new historic district or assisting property owners with nominations to the National Register of Historic Places, whether that's an individual building or a district as well. That's something that the plan recommends for us to pursue further. And I do know that Mr. Oscar Cross's house is one of them. But in terms of the I Am Southside campaign, we have looked at noble faces, but I think places is something completely valid as well. So
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll make a comment, just a compliment. There was at least one lady who talked about, could we have something smaller than 1,200 square feet as minimum square foot requirements? And indeed, you all incorporated 800 square feet on page 50, and that was great. Thank you.
thank you. I will say to your
Good listening.
thank you, Commissioner Rhodes. To one of your personal comments was identifying the railroad track previously as Illinois Central, changing that to Canadian National based off of your expertise.
Be honest.
Okay. Any other comments? Questions? All right, we'll call for the motion. I believe Commissioner Griffith, you have our first one.
Yes, sir. I move that this commission recommend approval for the Southside Revitalization Plan to the URCDA and Board of Commissioners to adopt a resolution recommending said approval thereof.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Now that motion comes from the Planning Commission itself. Any questions, comments on that? Mr. Summers, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Griffin,
Aye.
Commissioner Heath,
Aye.
Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Benberry,
Aye.
Chairman Wade.
Aye. Commissioner Kaler, I believe you have the URCDA motion.
I move that the URCDA accept the recommendation of approval of the Southside Revitalization Plan by the Paducah Planning Commission and further recommend approval to the City of Paducah Board of Commissioners and adopt a resolution recommending said approval thereof.
Second.
Moved and second. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, Mr. Summers, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Kaler,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Commissioner Benberry,
Aye.
Commissioner Griffin,
Aye.
Commissioner Heath,
Aye.
Chairman Wade.
Aye. So this, two bodies have now approved for recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. Coming out of what happened in our public hearing last month, I see that there are some in the public here. It would not have been appropriate to reopen the public hearing, but certainly if you have any comments that you would like to be included in the record of this body as it goes to the Board of Commissioners, I would entertain any public comments to come and identify yourself at the podium for those to be heard and put of record. Yes, ma'am.
You want me to come to the podium?
Yes, that way you're picked up by the microphone. And if you would identify yourself with.
I'm Veretta Hurt, and I'm just a citizen of Paducah. And I guess my comment is under number 34, on page 34, the property tax moratorium that you're going to implement. And Mr. Stroop, one of my former students, so I really appreciate the hard work that he has done. And I see he did try to implement some of the things that I talked with him about as far as the moratorium. I see temporary. I want to know how temporary. I want to know what you're thinking when you say temporary. I believe it reads, in response, and I'm on page 34, in response to public feedback, the city will explore the creation of a temporary property tax moratorium for properties within the current program area. And I could continue. Do you?
Well, since you've asked a question, I will give Mr. Stroop or Mr. Summers the opportunity to respond. Or it could be that response is we don't know yet.
Well, we can answer the question, certainly, but it's a little tricky, and here's why. The elected body of the commission is who would determine that. So we didn't want to put something in here without having them agree. And that will be a portion that they will discuss, and they could do it for 12 months, they could do it for 5 years, they could do it for 10 years. And the other tricky part of that is one commission could do it and another commission could come along and remove it. So that's why we put the word temporary, because we don't want to make a promise we can't keep.
Okay.
Does that help you?
That helps me somewhat, but I would like to have something more finite
We understand.
about that.
We understand.
Okay, I am concerned, deeply concerned about that. And I appreciate you all having the forum last week, 2 weeks ago, I believe, and thank you for listening even today. And in addition, my pastor is a member of the commission, and I'd like for him to know that Mr. Stroop actually won our missionary scholarship one year. Not that he's going to do anything on, but he will listen.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
So, one time, when I went to summer school, we went on a trip, and we went to one of the parks to go on, on a water park, and one of the bathrooms didn't lock. Both of the bathrooms.
So we need to make sure those are fixed. Okay. That's very important. All right. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Dorothea Davis with the Paducah Diversity Advocacy Board. I just had a kind of an observation, kind of thought off the top of the dome in a way, so please forgive me, this is not going to be as coherent as I'd like for it to be. But I'm thinking of places I've lived all over the United States, and I'm thinking of mixed income opportunities in terms of areas that house both, higher income housing as well as lower income housing or medium income housing. Is that something that's even like realistic for the South Side? I don't know exactly what all of the numbers are regarding the South Side, but I'm a South Sider, grew up there, lived there many years, and I still have property on the South Side. And I'm really concerned. I'd like to see some transitional living housing opportunities for women and children in particular with my property. But I'd also like to see them have the opportunity to graduate from that type of housing into their own privately owned housing. And so there are different kinds of programs that are all over the United States of America where those kinds of transitions can happen. And so I'm just curious to know if people are thinking outside of the box, not just redevelopment is, I think Mr. Stroop said it very well, redevelopment is more than just building, edifices, because once again, there were many houses there before that are not there. But it's also building a culture, creating a community, and creating that cohesiveness that he spoke about, which I think is a beautiful thing, and I think it could be something really phenomenal for our city, and I think it could be different than anything that we have seen here before. So I'm excited about it, and I'm appreciative of you all, if continuing to offer the opportunities for people to be heard, and I look forward to, if I ever have the opportunity, to be a part of it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your statement and question on that. Anyone else? If not, we will close the public comment piece of this, and your comments will be included in what will be forwarded to the Board of Commissioners. Any other business from the commission? Hearing none, this is concluded at, I believe it says 5:49. Very good. Thank you. Next meeting is August the 4th.